Hello, calculus students. This is going to be very exciting because this is your introduction to spreadsheets. Excel is the most famous of spreadsheets by far, but we, for convenience of the school environment, are going to use Google Sheets. And I promise you, without any exaggeration, you are going to love this. So what you'll need to do is get a new sheet and open it up, and you'll get this grid-like, well, let's go here. You'll get a sheet that looks like this, and I'm going to start with this one. And the purpose of this very first video is just to show you the very basics of spreadsheets, and we'll keep adding on to this. And if you think what I'm showing you is too elementary, don't worry, because all I have to do is plant a little tiny seed of knowledge in your brain, and your brain, combined with the beauty of these spreadsheets, will let you do unbelievably great things. So grab your cup of coffee and let's get going. To start off with, you'll notice that this is a grid. It's almost like a coordinate grid. For example, right now, my cursor is on cell B3. Now it's on cell D7. So I'm just going to show you a quick little thing of how Excel can do math stuff for you. And as we're doing this, don't worry about the formatting being not pretty, because we will learn plenty of ways to make the format look pretty. For what we do right now, we'll just have to put up with not pretty. Okay, so I'm going to have a variable A, I'm going to have a variable B, and I'm going to then, in the cell next to it, type in, say, a 5 and a 15. And by the way, as I'm typing into these cells, what you should notice is also up here in what I would call probably, I think, the formula bar, the same thing is happening. So if I change this 15 to a 35, you will see up there that it says 35 as well. And in fact, if I click on that 35 and I want to go up there and erase that and put in 21, same thing. So looking at the cell and up here at the formula bar, interchangeable. So now what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to say, what would happen if I do A plus B? Nothing happens yet. A minus B, A times B, and A divided by B. Okay? Now here's where Excel will start doing the math stuff for you. If I wanted to do A plus B, and I'm going to put an equal sign in there, and I wanted that result to show up over here in column F, here's what I do. Anytime I'm going to start a formula or have Excel doing some computation for me, I start with an equal sign in that cell. And now, since I want to add them, I click the value for A, which is in C2. I put the plus, which is it's on the keyboard. And then I click on the cell for B. And now I have a 26, which makes sense because 5 plus 21 is 26. What if I went and changed the A's value to 134? As soon as I hit enter, the A plus B updates. So you would guess A minus B, start with an equal sign, click on A's value, subtraction sign, B's value. For multiplication, equals A asterisk B. A divided by B equals A slash B. So the point of Excel in many cases is the ability to do quick math calculations for you, and when your values change, 200, 50, all of your math changes and you don't have to do anything else. So now we're going to take a look at how this could be applied in a slightly more complex situation, and there's going to be two enormously valuable lessons you're going to learn. So I'm going to go over here to what I call fake gradebook. And what I'm going to have you do is pause the video and just literally type all of these words and values into a spreadsheet. These are the names of the only 4 cats I've ever had in my life. And this is a fake grade book where Gorman had on assignment number 1, 8 points out of 10 possible. On assignment 2, he had 5 points out of 10 possible. And on the quiz, he had 48 out of 50 possible. Now, as you're typing these in, it's not going to look pretty and organized and centered. It's going to look more like that, what you see there. But don't worry about it. We'll fix that. We're not worried about pretty right now. So pause, type that in, and then we're going to learn 2 enormously valuable lessons in Excel. Okay, you have this typed in. And by the way, if you need it to be pretty, what you can do is you can highlight the entire piece and then just go up to this icon. What I did is the horizontal alignment. Okay, so I'm going back to my fake grade book and just sit back and watch this because you'll have a chance to do this on your own shortly. I'm making a new column called the total, and I want to add up Gorman's grade. So I start with an equal sign in the cell where I want the addition to occur. And now I have to add up his 3 numbers. I don't want to do 8 plus 5 plus 48 and then hit enter, because although that's a correct value, if it turns out that was not Gorman's real grade on that test and I turn it to a 20, notice that his 61 has not updated. Ay, que cosa. So I think that was a 48. So what I have to do is I have to do equals, and now I click his 8 plus click his 5 plus click his 48. Now if I take his 48 and make it a 28, his score updates. So here's the deal. If I had, say, a spreadsheet that had 2,000 rows, that'd be a pain in the butt to do that typing for every row. So watch what we get to do. I have his cell activated, cell F4. I take my cursor and I go to the lower right hand corner. Notice that my cursor goes from an arrow to a plus. As soon as it's down there, if I have a mouse or on my mouse pad, I click, but I hold the click down, I keep my click depressed, and then I drag down. When I do that, spreadsheet magic happens. That formula, C4D4E4, as I go down to Harlan, it now updates, come on Harlan, okay, C5D5E5. I go to Abby, C6D6E6, I go to Cleo, C7D7E7. Aha! So I can just take my cursor, go to the lower right hand corner, click, hold the click down, drag down, and it does it for me. Now you're going to find that there's more than one way to add up a bunch of numbers. What if I had maybe 1,000 columns and I didn't want to do click plus 1,000 times? I'm going to show you over here in cell F2 equals, but now I'm going to write the magic word sum, S-U-M. Later on we'll show you where to find that stuff, the bank of magic words, and I highlight over the things that I want summed up. They don't even have to be in a row or a column, they can be a blob of numbers. As long as I highlight them and hit enter, it adds it up. So you have to be careful to always have a formula in a mathematical spot, C4D4E4, because if I type a number in there instead of a formula, it will not update when values get changed. One of the biggest mistakes people make in Excel is they type in numbers when a formula is appropriate. So I do believe that mistake number 1 in Excel is being a number typer when you should have put a formula in there. Now let me show you the next valuable lesson in Excel. I want to find the percent grade. This is going to be a biggie. And I know Gorman got a 41 out of 70, so I hit equals, and of course, click on that 41 cell, divide by the 70 cell, and I hit enter. And he's got a 58.5%. Let's not worry about formatting or anything right now. And just like we did it when we had the 41 for his total grade, we're going to click, hold, and drag. So I'm in his cell. I move the cursor to the lower right hand corner. It changes to a plus. I click, I hold it down, keep it held down, and I drag the cell down. Oh my gosh, it's broken. Let's look at what happened. In this one, it was F4, his 41, divided by F2, the 70. But when I dragged it down to the next, it took the F4 and dragged it down to be an F5, which is good, the 56. But Gorman used to have an F2. When I dragged it down to Harlan, it became F3. So the 70 dragged down to the word total. So what's happening here is Excel is trying to do 56 divided by the word total. That doesn't make any sense. So there's a real weird fix. I go up to the formula and I say F2, I want that to stick. So oddly, I put a $ before the F and after the F. Now that means when I drag that formula, the F4 will update, but the F2 will not. So I go down to that, let's see, lower right-hand corner. Oh, something's weird there. Okay, lower right-hand corner, click, hold, and drag. Aha, now it all makes sense. Now it's doing its job. And by the way, this thing is very interactive, where if I change that 50 to a 60, everybody's grade should go down. Watch what happens when I hit enter. Everybody's grade went down. Now I haven't shown you any formatting or anything like that. I'm going to have to do that in another video because I only get 15 minutes on this software program. But the things you should have learned from this, spreadsheets do math for you. If you want spreadsheets to do math, make sure you're putting formulas in instead of numbers, because if you put in numbers, it's not going to update for you when you change values in your spreadsheet. And lastly, it's awesome to drag formulas around, but sometimes you want parts of your formula to not be dragged and updated. And so when you put the $ in front and after the letter, that cell will not get updated. Watch up here in the corner as I drag down to the next person, the next person, the next person. That F2 is sticking, but the other part of that divisor is not. Okay, there's going to be another video that shows you formatting ideas and other nooks and crannies of Excel, but you already know the entrance into the world of Excel. And sorry, whenever I say Excel, I really mean spreadsheets. Excel is just the premier spreadsheet. See ya.